Problems. Problems. Why problems? Come on. Now? No. Stupid.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Maybe y'all can hear me. Sam, can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay, it
Was
was,
it-
it was my fault.
It was on your end. It was your dang microphone again, man.
Yeah, once it comes unplugged, it basically resets everything else. So
Oh.
yeah. So sorry about that, guys. But anyway, we were
One
just,
day this will all get all figured out.
Yeah, it's technology, man. Technology sucks. But dude, I was talking about the World Series, man. World Series started out with a bang, dude. Astros are
Game
down
4 last night started out with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, Astros are down 3-1, man, and then loses a devastating game come game 4, man. They were up all game 2-0. Braves come back late, wins 3-2, and then last night, grand slam off the first inning, man, grand slam, and they can't hang on. And I was just sitting there saying, man, I'm gonna have to give the series to the Astros, man. I mean, momentum is back on the Astros side. You cannot lose. You cannot lose that game last night if you're the Braves, and they did.
No, you're right. You can't. But man, I was just thinking after the grand slam. I'm like, and then the Astros come back in the bottom or the top of the second and pick up a couple runs. And I'm like, there may be something brewing here. I don't think that this thing is just going to be a cakewalk for the Braves. Momentum coming back to the side of the Astros.
Yeah, I mean they're going home now. I'll say this: the Astros kind of blew their load in terms of pitching last night. I mean they threw everything they have. I don't know who they're going to be able to start here in the next 2 games. To be honest with you, man, I don't think that it matters, but I think they're going to throw the whole kitchen sink at this next game, Game 6, and then do what the Nationals did in Game 7, man. Just throw away whatever you've got. You know what I mean?
You can't play a Game 7 before you're playing Game 6. It's an elimination game. Everybody is available. You throw everybody out there.
100%. I mean, Fried is pitching for the Braves. I'm not confident in Fried. I mean, the kid just got rocked first time he was out there, man. In the first game of the World Series that he had, man, he looked terrible. I mean, just looked terrible. And then Garcia is going to be pitching for the Astros, man. But I don't like their Astros lineup. I mean, I'm sorry, the Braves here. I think they lose 2 and they lose the series.
Yeah. If you lose this game 6 back in Houston tomorrow night, then it is not looking good for you. Momentum is a key in sports in these sports with the 7-game series. And 04, the Yankees up 3-0 on the Red Sox, and the Red Sox come back.
Red Sox come back. Yeah.
To win it. Yeah, that was an amazing thing. And it's just they carried their momentum. They caught it and carried it and rode it. And that Red Sox team was a great team, but that's the quintessential team that I say is that is too stupid to know they're not good enough to win. So, I like those teams.
So the Braves had the fortunate, the fortunality of having Bregman not hit all series long. Finally, Bregman hits a double, winds up having RBIs last night. Bregman has been terrible this World Series, as he was when he faced the Nationals. Dude, he just kind of disappears during the World Series. I don't know why, but all of a sudden now, his bat starts lighting up. That could, look, man, you have an Altuve, Bregman, Correa, and then you have Tucker, and then in your lineup, dude. That is a tough lineup to get outs. Through 4 cycles. For the Braves, man. I don't know, man. I just don't trust the Braves pitching to hold up. And it seems like too, man.
It's not going to be the starters that determine this. It's going to be the bullpen. A game 6 like that, if it starts getting rocky 4th inning, the Braves could go to a bullpen early, and they should.
Does Greinke come out and pitch game 6? Out of the bullpen.
When did he pitch last?
2 days ago.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, If you get an inning and a third, inning 2/3 out of him, Bridge like you got to bring him in the 5th, and he gets the 5th and the 6th, and then you can get it over to your bullpen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a bullpen game.
He pitched 5.5 innings.
He's got an inning and a half left. You have to, at this point in the season, you have to, whatever you have, it's win or go home.
That's right. I mean, if you're at Astros like Dusty Baker, man, you've got to throw everything you got and just piece it together game 7. I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, you can't save anything. You've got to do everything you can. And here's the thing too. Now it's an American League ballpark.
Yep.
And so, you've got DHs galore you can use. The pitchers don't have to be out there batting, so that's not a hindrance. And, it's going to be interesting to see, man. It's going to be interesting to see, your microphone's done.
How about this one?
There we go.
Okay, all right, Ron. That was the wrong way to mute. This is what baseball has, and it's what drew me to baseball very early on in my life. It's this dance of what you're going to do, and especially in these championship series, World Series games, and I think that this style of play and managing has changed from what it was in the 90s. In the 90s, you're game 6 of a World Series, your starter's going to go out there and he's going to go 6-7 for you. Now, if the starters get through the lineup twice tomorrow, I'd almost be surprised about that.
Agreed. Blake, welcome, man. Your Stros did it, man. They pulled it together after 4-0 first inning, man, and they absolutely put on a show last night. And I guess the question is this, man. They're starting with Garcia come tomorrow against Fried. Garcia has pitched very well in the World Series and in the playoffs. Does Greinke come out and pitch tomorrow?
I have no idea, man. This series, Greg, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, man. It is one of the weirdest series I think I've watched in the World Series. The defense has been horrible. I don't understand half the pitching changes that are coming out.
Yeah.
Dusty leaves guys in when they're struggling, and then when they're kind of rolling and a runner gets on. The Braves pulled a guy the other night that was rolling, and he only had like 70 pitches.
Yeah.
And they went into their bullpen, and now they're hurting.
Now I know. I mean, we have a group chat going. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah, and
Why is he pulling them?
so I have no idea. Like Greinke might DH. He's hitting better than
why not?
Bregman. I mean, except for last night. I mean, it's the weirdest series I've watched since I don't know 2008 Phillies. Maybe.
I'm interested
I mean,
to see if this series has literally the record amount of runners on base held. You know what I mean? It has to be. I mean, we had what was it? At least 12 the other night. 12 runners on base to stranded.
It's the weirdest series where I wonder what percentage of runs have been scored by only the long ball. It looks like neither teams can manufacture runs unless they hit a home run. Like the Astros last night, yeah, great. Like for one game they did it, but it just really looks like if you hit a home run, your odds to win the game just went up 50%. It's a crazy game, man. It's a weird series.
It is, man. Like you were talking about, I don't think there's ever been a series that I can recall in the near future that has been so sloppily played by both teams. I mean, the Braves defense was absolutely terrible the first game. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that, they kicked balls or, just didn't play good defense. I mean, terrible defense and, overthrowing runners and everything else, man. But I mean, hey, that's the game that we have. That's the series that we have in front of us. But like I said, man, and when I started the show, I think the Astros take this series, man. I think they take it in 7, and I think Big Momo is on the Astros side, especially after last night, man. You cannot, if you're the Braves, you cannot allow a 4-0 lead in the first just wither away.
Well, you want some stats to go with some postseason here?
Yeah.
Team ERA. The Atlanta Braves team ERA 3.5. Houston Astros team ERA 4.26, and that could be a little inflated because of that Boston series. But then if we go to team batting averages, the Astros team batting average is a 265 and a 248 for the Braves. So pitching hasn't been great, hitting hasn't been great. It really seems like it's long ball. Atlanta 20 home runs, the Astros 15 home runs. Boston had 2 or 3 grand slams in that series against the Astros, and then the Braves. How many World Series grand slams have there ever been? It's got to be a very small number, but it's baseball has kind of turned into that. It's the long ball is sexy, and it's what teams are going for.
Yeah, I want to say this because I think that tells everything what we were talking about is like that is how weird of a series it's been. It's like whichever team doesn't suck more that night wins. The pitching is not good.
It's the Spider-Man meme. You suck.
Yeah, you suck. No, you suck. Yeah. Like in my opinion, I think the best start we've seen out of a starter might have been Greinke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
In the whole series for either team.
0 runs, 3 hits, and no walks.
Yeah, I mean, so it's literally you can't count on any starter going out there and giving you. I mean, just what Sam was talking about, man. 6.
Blake Freese.
Yeah, Blake froze.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going back and I'm looking over some of these scores. 6-2, 7-2. Games 3 and 4 are the only ones that kind of seemed World Series like, with a 2-0 and a 3-2 game, and then Game 5 9-5. Man, scoring is just up in. You can expect it in the regular season, but the postseason, it had always seemed like pitching took over. The last few years, it definitely hasn't seemed that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. Hey, by the way, Brett Leeson scored for the Capitals. So we're up
Brett
1-0.
Leeson is his this is his second game.
First goal. Yep. Nick
first goal. Yeah, Leeson, I think, just debuted Friday night against the Coyotes.
Third line, man. So,
good for Leeson.
Leeson already. So anyway, sorry about that. Blake, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was gonna say, when we're talking about all these stats that matter and how pitching's down and stuff like that, I don't know about Braves injuries, but you guys got to remember, Astros have no Verlander, no Lance McCullers Jr., and they're both on the roster. I mean, so certainly hurts, and it's definitely showing with the young guys going out. And like I said, maybe Greinke's. If we see Greinke Tuesday night, I don't know, man.
I mean, like you had sent me the meme. It says Ohtani has made it to the World Series. He is absolutely playing like Ohtani, man, hitting and pitching like his lights out, man. I mean, it's just incredible what he's doing. I mean, you know, it's fun to watch, man. But I mean, look, you know, like we said, the Astros have got to get Bregman going. If I think he's the key to you guys. I mean, you have Altuve, you have Bregman, you have Correa, then you have Tucker. Tucker's the most consistent Astro. I mean, he's been lights out. He's batted over 500 just about every game. You know what I mean? The guy just knows how to get on base. And when he gets on base, he's dangerous. He steals bases and just makes havoc and then causes a lot of heartburn for the Braves defense for sure. And you just got to watch him. So, I mean, look, the guy, I think the Astros win Game 6 and then – look, man, anything can happen in Game 7, but I think the Astros actually steal this World Series, man, after being down 3-1.
The downfall there is the Games 6 and 7 are in Houston, and Houston doesn't like winning World Series games in Houston.
That's right.
Yeah, and the other thing, like Sam talked about earlier, the Braves are a long ball team. I think that suits them better. There's Astros, the guys that are hitting right now aren't like, I mean, Greg Conn, just like you're talking about, they're not the long ball guys. Like Brantley is not going to just jack a home run every other game.
Yeah.
He's going 3 for 4 in half the games he's playing right now, but Bregman behind him is not hitting.
Well, I asked you this question in the very beginning of the series, man. Is Astros home field a disadvantage for Astros because of how short 315 to left field, man? That's nothing for these guys. Nothing. And, you know, it hindered you guys during the Nationals World Series. I mean, Juan Soto took you guys out like 2 or 3 times and just loved your ballpark. And
did they ever get that ball that Soto launched onto the train tracks off the train tracks? Or is it still there?
It's probably still there.
I'm sure he's not the first person to do it and probably not the last, so probably got it cleared.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, the visitors love coming into that ballpark and just taking them out. You know what I mean? And that, again, I know what you said and, you know, how, like, that's how the Astros wanted it. They wanted to see how, you know, an entertainment factor for the fans. But entertainment factor that could be a hindrance to actually winning the freaking series.
Yeah, Altuve's made a career out of that porch, though. I mean, he is a pull ball hitter. Correa, too. I mean, everybody knows Correa loves that high cheese. I mean,
is Ronald Acuna any good? Yeah, he's really good.
It's pretty good.
He just so happens to not be playing for the Braves right now, but he's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested to see this matchup with Acuna playing in Verlander and, you know, not injured. So
yeah, that would be fun to watch. But again, you know, Blake, I know you hang on every pitch in the series, being a huge Astros fan. You know, as I said, man, you know, I cannot see this team losing. I cannot see this team losing.
I can't let myself believe it yet. Like, it hurts me so bad when they lose. Like, I'm just going to stay calm and one game at a time right now.
It's really one inning at a time for you guys, man. No doubt. So, yeah. But even so, I mean, you've proven, like I talked to you last night, man, this game ain't over. They have proven themselves to be able to get down 4-0 first inning and come back and win this freaking thing like 9-7 is just ridiculous.
As bad as it was for the Astros to lose Game 3, it was somehow worse for the Braves to lose the way they did last night.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's a gut punch, man. It's a gut punch. And again, they're throwing Fried out there, but you know what the Astros did to Fried last time. So
what everyone's doing to Fried right now, man. He looks not right.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. Fried found something in the latter halves of his innings in the last game he pitched. He was throwing smoke, trying to get 93, 94 on the corners. They weren't hitting. But then he started doing his off-speed, his curveballs, his sliders, starting to come more in the strike zone. And a lot of these batters are chasing it down. And I think if he starts with that, you know, I think he'll have a pretty decent outing. But he reminds me, dude, he reminds me a little bit of what's his name? It was an old Braves pitcher. lost his touch. Glavin. He reminds me a lot of Tom Glavin
Glavin.
back in his later years. And he's just that kind of guy. I mean, he reminds me a lot of him once Glavin lost his fastball.
Yeah, I hear you on the Fried thing kind of picking up some momentum in his later innings. The bad thing for Fried, that was the first time he'd ever faced the Astros. And they kind of started shelling him at the beginning. Yeah. And then he, found his stuff, but they got to see his stuff, right?
Yep.
And it's a short time in between games, so they've seen it recently.
Yep.
And then they're coming off what I think was their best hitting game. So
yeah.
Looking at some stats here, he's got a very high WHIP, 1.34, and he does have the highest percentage of pitches for strikes at 84.5. That means he's going to put the ball in there for the hitters to hit, and so let the Astros. They know he's going to throw strikes. Swing at him. You make your contact. And he's allowing, his WHIP. He's allowing these hits to happen. String a few together early, and you chase this guy in the third. Then you're in that bullpen, and already very, very taxed bullpen.
Well, here's the comparison. Here's your ERAs for the postseason. Max Fried has a 10.8 ERA. Luis Garcia has a 2.45 ERA.
Yeah,
pretty solid. Pretty solid. But Garcia likes to walk batters. He likes to put batters on base, man. So again, we'll see if they can take care of it. But I don't. His last out was a 10.8 ERA, man. That's pretty bad.
So, yeah, not a good start now.
Not great. But yeah, man. I mean, what are your final thoughts on the World Series, man? I mean, what do you expect? Who do you think is going to wind up being your player of the game so far, or your player of the game for Game 6, Blake? Who's the one guy that you're looking at?
When Altuve is hitting, the Astros look good. And I hate to put all that pressure on him, man, but God, when he comes out and he just leads off and gets a hit or opens the game up with whatever, they just look better.
Agreed.
But I'm going to go back, man, like it's Bregman. When Bregman hits, because you get Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, and those are 3 hard outs to get, but Bregman hasn't been a hard out, man.
Yeah.
He's just swinging at bad pitches. He's swinging at early pitches, and that's really uncharacteristic. He looked a lot more disciplined last night, so
right.
Want to see that.
Well, guys, we have to get to the king of all sports. That's the NFL, man. The NFL, I can't figure out, guys. I got my butt kicked. I mean, let me just say this.
You said here about a month ago, stick in the college world for betting because your things are going to make a lot more sense. Because the NFL is.
Even college sucked for me. I was 13 and 15 in college. I tried to make it up with the NFL, and I don't know jack about the NFL because I got housed in the NFL, man. But I just don't know anything what's going on here, man. All I know is the Bears suck. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. Everybody else sucks. Fire the coach, please. Get him out of here.
It'll happen. Just give it time. It'll happen.
Yeah, just freaking fire everybody, and just look. Everybody's tradable on the Bears. Trade deadlines this week. Everybody's tradable on the Bears except for Justin Fields. Just get rid of him.
There I am.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something here earlier today, and Greg, you're the only Bears fan that I know. This is the Chicago Bears area. We're in the Washington D.C. suburbs. And oh my gosh, it's you can't swing a dead cat and not hit Washington Redskin, Washington football team, anything every day of the year. But if I were a fan looking at these two franchises over a 40-year span, I'm turning 45 years old, so over a 40-year span, I like where the Bears were, are, and can be way more than where Washington is and can be.
I agree with that. But I agree with that. I mean, the problem with the Bears, man, is they've always hired inept freaking upper management. I mean, their upper management in the Bears just cannot. I mean, literally, they should be working for the DMV. They're just inept. They suck. They can't make great decisions, man. And they always mortgage the future for garbage talent. And they don't know how to build within the inside out. They always go out for these flashy freaking veteran names, and they wind up trading away the meat of the draft, the third, fourth, fifth round draft picks, and they cannot build a solid team, and we're sick of it. And we've never had a quarterback ever. Finally, we have one. We have a franchise quarterback. What are you going to do to protect this kid? You've got to be able to have an offensive line. You've got to be able to have coaches that know how to coach them. Look what Arizona did with Kyler Murray. They built a whole system around Kyler Murray. They've got to do that with Justin Fields. God forbid we found out that Matt Nagy's not on the freaking sidelines, and magical things can happen when you let Justin Fields out of the pocket. He makes plays. And I've been trying to tell you guys this. He could be Mahomes-like if you allow him to make plays outside the pocket. And everyone's like laughing at me about it. I'm telling you, the kid can make plays. They just don't know how to work this kid. They want to try to put him in the pocket, make him a Tom Brady style quarterback. That's not who this kid is. He will be able to throw some passes like a Tom Brady and throw it freaking 60 yards downfield and hit bombs. But that's not who this kid is. He's a scrambler. He moves the pocket in and out. You're going to have to find, talent around him like a Tarek Hill who can get downfield and let him throw freaking bombs. I mean, that's just who this kid is. But you also got to protect him. And, I mean, our offensive line is Swiss cheese. But like you're saying, the Redskins are hopeless, man. The Redskins or whatever Washington football team is hopeless. I mean, that starts with Dan Snyder. Until Dan Snyder goes away and sells the freaking team, the Redskins are screwed.
You're complaining about the Bears management. I see your Bears management, and I raise you the Washington football team management. Yeah. Who is running this team? Is there an adult running this team? Do they spin a wheel and decide who they're going to draft? It's inept from top to bottom, has been since he took over the franchise. I just see and think and believe that Chicago is going to get it figured out. They're going to see that the new NFL is here, and it's these young mobile quarterbacks, and they've got one. They've got a good one. Give him put him in a Sean McVay style offense, and I think the Bears are 6-2 right now, 5-2. Something along those lines.
Not with our offensive line, man. Our offensive line is pathetic.
All right, that's something that can be handled with a good draft and a decent offseason. But you have to show that you want the offense to shine. Get one of these young stud, flashy offensive coordinators. Move them into your head coaching role.
Yeah. Well,
there's no way Nagy makes it through the season.
No, he's
or he might make it through the season, but he's gone at the end of the year.
He's toast. We obviously can deal with that. Guys, this week was so stupid and crazy in the NFL. 4 backup quarterbacks wound up winning. 4.
Yep.
Geno Smith in Seattle destroyed the Jags, right? You had Mike White from the Jets beating a very hot Bengals team. Yeah. If you had the Jets money line, you're full of crap.
Absolutely.
There's no chance. I think they were like 11-point underdogs in that game. You know what I mean? And Mike White was dude, this kid threw 405 yards, 4 touchdowns, 37 of 45. I mean, did anybody predict that? No freaking way, man. No way.
No, when you were singing your Bears woes and your Washington football woes, all I could think about was, I'm just grateful I'm not a Jags fan. The Jags are the worst team I've seen.
They are so bad. They've given up.
That's a management issue as well. If you look at the teams with the worst records, it is management. Yep. It's okay. They've got terrible players on the field, but that comes from management. The Jaguars, Washington, the Lions, Miami. Those are your 4 worst teams right now, and the Texans. I just think the Texans got a little bit kneecapped by the Deshaun Watson thing, and of those 5 teams, I would say Houston turns it around faster than any of the other 4.
Well, I mean, they got kneecapped by their owner because their owner is an idiot. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, and the new ownership, they're blowing it up, man. They just said we're not happy with any of it or being mediocre. They signed a bunch of 1-year deals, and we're gonna have a lot of money next year. So looking forward to that. But
yeah,
it's gonna be a painful season.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, everybody, you can chalk that one out, no doubt. And then, you again, Mike White from the Jets, and then you had Rush last night from Dallas Cowboys. Where'd this guy come from? Who is this guy? Goes into Minneapolis. I mean, I had Minneapolis -3 and the under. The under hits, but how could you lose this game? I mean, how could you lose this game, Minnesota? I mean, that's what I get for betting on a freaking rival. But it's just a joke. But this guy Rush, man. He was pretty dang impressive, man, for the Cowboys. I was
24 of 40, 325, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Sure,
yeah,
hey,
I mean
that's a Dak-esque stat line.
Well,
look who he has around him to throw to, and Zeke in the backfield there.
Yeah,
sure.
But still, I mean, you got to manage that offense, man. You got to be able to throw, and also he had some wheels, man. I was really impressed with, and so I mean, then you had Simeon for the New Orleans Saints. After Jameis Winston went down, man. I mean, so hey, look, man. By the way, Tom Brady picked 6 to end the game.
Oh, that was painful. Yes.
Yeah, that was a surprise, man. The Saints take care of business and beat Brady again, who happens to be the nemesis. The Saints happen to be Brady's nemesis, man. So pretty interesting NFL, man. Again, can't figure it out to save my life, man. It's
on the Cowboys, right quick, because I do live in Dallas, and so I get the. From Houston, live in Dallas. There's so much talk here about how good Dak is. Last night watching that game, I was just like, is it Dak? This guy comes in, I don't even know who he is, and he's running the offense just fine.
Yeah.
Putting up Dak stats, like Sam said.
Well, I'll say this, though. Let's be honest. Once Dak went down last year, the Cowboys were terrible. I mean, Andy Dalton looked horrendous.
A lot of that was Dallas's almost worst all-time defense that they rolled out there last year. 100%. That has completely flipped the script on this year.
Yeah.
What is the Dak injury? I didn't catch the calf.
It was calf. Yeah, calf, exactly. I mean, and he said it was because of the ankle injury he's still getting over. Put a lot of strain on his calf. But I mean, speaking of injuries, guys, we had a ton of injuries in the NFL that are huge. Actually, season-changing injuries here. We obviously have, I think, the number one injury that we can talk about is Derrick Henry from Tennessee, man. I mean, he could be done for the season, man. They just signed Adrian Peterson.
I thought that. I was like, well, here goes, Henry is MVP candidate for the Titans, and when I heard that he's out probably for the whole season, I was like, well, there goes Tennessee.
Breaking
I mean,
news, this is in Delaware has turned blue. Shocker.
Where's Delaware? I think I've spent about 3 minutes there on 95 one time. I don't even know Henry, and so Henry's going down. I'm like, well, there goes. I thought Tennessee really, really had a shot this season, and the wins over Buffalo and the Chiefs and taking out Indy, and now Henry's down. But I like the signing of Peterson.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? You can't replace. Literally, Henry was an MVP. I mean,
absolutely,
he was MVP. I mean, come at me if you disagree. That's fine. But I mean, that's a huge blow to Tennessee. Everything went through Derrick Henry in that offense, and now Tannehill is going to have to show his stuff, man. Is he going to do
it? Adrian Peterson is 36, I think I read. I think he still has a little bit in the tank. He's not. He'll be no Derrick Henry, but I think you could still be a ground attack team behind Adrian Peterson.
Oh man, 36. That is a lot to carry. I mean, it wasn't like Henry was a 10 carries a game guy. I mean, I think that hurts them way more than it's going to be the Tannehill show. I think I'm kind of with Greg on that one. I just don't see Adrian Peterson coming in and putting up just that many carries.
Yeah, but Tannehill is a capable quarterback, and also he's got two. I mean, if these two guys can get on the same page, on the same field together, AJ Brown and Julio Jones, I mean, if those guys can get on the same field together, that'd be great. But they do have some talent. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and that defense too, man. They benefit so much because Tennessee has very few 3-and-outs, man. I mean,
Yeah,
Henry's
another
bruiser.
injury that it's going to have lasting implications in the NFC South. It's going to be the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston goes down, man, out for the season, tears his ACL, MCL, done. Does New Orleans make a quarterback move significant by the trade deadline? I mean, do they go out and get Cam Newton? I mean, is it time for Cam Newton to come back to the
Colin
NFL?
Kaepernick.
Oh, God, no.
Oh boy. No, I mean, if I was New Orleans, I'd take a flyer on Cam Newton. You're. I mean, it's probably a prorated part of a salary, and he's going to play for a league minimum. He's a capable football player, and he's kind of going to slide in and be able to handle that offense, kind of like Winston did. And you might, you're going to lose some in age, but I don't think you're going to lose all that much in talent. And you're a proven NFL quarterback in Cam Newton. I'd make the call. I'd be on the phone.
Yeah, I think it's an option worth exploring, and happy, I guess, for all the crab legs in New Orleans that they're safe for a little while.
Exactly. And another thing too, man. I mean, we've got Chicago's got two quarterbacks that are very capable of running an offense. I mean, you got Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. I mean, obviously on the back end of their careers, but for a 6th or 7th round draft pick, I mean, Chicago was dying to get Nick Foles off their freaking books. A $10 million salary, but if I was the Saints, I'd be calling around for sure, trying to get some help. But yeah, I mean, again, the NFL is just doing NFL things. Another surprise that I thought was Mac Jones going into Los Angeles and taking care of business, man. 27-24, beats the Chargers in LA. Hey, are the Patriots back, guys?
Back, I'm going to tell you, jury's still out on that. On the rise, definitely. That's Mac Jones is a good quarterback who went to a great situation and is perfectly capable of doing this, running Belichick's offense. And yeah, 4-4, you're chasing down Buffalo, which everybody knows Buffalo's going to win it. Outside shot at a wild card there, especially with Tennessee. There, that Henry loss is going to have ripple effects through the entire AFC. So there's a chance that Tennessee doesn't win that division, doesn't get a wild card.
Oh, the Colts are coming right there, man.
Right, and the Colts had chance after chance.
They did.
With that game. So
hey, Carson Wentz is playing well. I mean, he really is. The Colts defense just looked awful, but Carson Wentz is playing pretty decent here, man. He's getting his win. I think him and Frank Wright are starting to, gel together, getting their old Eagles mojo going, and putting up 31 points on the board. You should win the freaking ball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Tennessee won it in overtime there, and it is what it is, man. But it's going to be up in the air. I knew it was
here somewhere. How'd they expand the playoff format this year? Is it 9 teams making the playoffs?
No,
20 or 8. 7. I'm looking. If you set it in a playoff format, New England is number 8 in the AFC right now.
Right. Well, I mean, then they're going to be in.
Yeah, then they're in.
Yeah, they're going to be in. Yeah, they added a wild card team for each division or each conference. So
like a 7? Is there 7 per conference?
I think it's 8, right?
It's 6. You had 4 plus 2 more. You had your 4 division winners and 2 wild cards. And so they added the 1 more wild card. So 7. 7 per. All right. So they're just they're 1 back in the loss column from the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, they have the tiebreaker. So
yeah,
over the Chargers. But hey, this is just breaking news. The Detroit Lions suck.
Greg, in other news, water is wet.
I mean, dude, I was a kind of firm believer in the Detroit Lions, man. I was like, hey, look, man, they're losing close games. Dan Campbell's crying. I mean, that means it has to mean something, right? I mean, there's got to be they're gonna be chewing people's kneecaps off and all this other stuff, dude. They're 0-7. I mean, they suck so freaking bad. I mean, got their butts handed to them by a terrible Philly team, 44-6. I mean, was never in it. Was never in it.
No.
I mean, and I actually miserably watched that game because it was here in DC. The Lions looked, I mean, one of the worst football teams I've ever seen in my life.
I'm just so happy for Matt Stafford he got out of there.
Oh, yeah.
That's how everybody feels about
Right.
when someone gets out of Detroit, and everybody has always felt so terrible for Barry Sanders that all that time that he had to spend there. If he could have got out of Detroit, how many rings would he have?
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't
Guys,
blame
is it
Megatron
time?
for
Is it
retiring
time
early.
for Cleveland to say goodbye to Baker Mayfield? That's a tough loss, man. 15-10 at home. Baker, they exercised their 5-year option on the kid. They said that they want to try to get a deal done with him, and Baker Mayfield is not worth. I'm sorry, guys. I'm wanting $35 million a year to be a quarterback.
I guess I would ask you,
Jim,
this,
I've been to Detroit, and it's awful. Yes. Yes.
I guess I'd ask you this about Baker. Like coming out of college, did you think he had it?
I didn't think he was number one quarterback. No.
Do you think he had it? Like,
No.
if the Bears had taken it, would you have been happy?
No, I wouldn't have been.
I wouldn't have been either, even at the Texans.
I mean, look, I think he's more flair than I mean, he had a good career at Oklahoma, but then you see right behind him, Kyler Murray had a great career right behind him. And then Jalen Hurts had a great career behind him. So, I mean, it's the system. He's a system quarterback. I don't think he was, I don't think he was number one quarterback at all chosen out of that year.
And he had to transfer from Tech because Mahomes made him sit the bench.
Of course.
So,
Of course. Yeah.
Like, I just don't know that he's ever had it. He reminds me so much of Manziel.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He just
now.
I know he's capable, but it's just like I don't think week in week out he can do it.
I mean, he has been injured a lot. I mean, now to be fair, I will say this: it's definitely not. I don't think it's Cleveland's offensive line that's been the issue, because I mean it's one of the best offensive lines you can have. I mean, he just tries to make plays and stupid plays. He gets hit after the play is over. I mean, just stuff like that, man. I mean, he just has these weird injuries and stuff. But man, I think Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's going to get him back next year, man. I think they're going to say goodbye. I mean, the following year they have a 5-year option on him, but I think they say goodbye. I don't think they're going to get a deal done.
I think he would want Dak Prescott money, and I think Dak Prescott is a lot better than Baker Mayfield.
Yes, and he's more. Well, I mean, I can't say he's more durable. Dak's had his injuries as well, but
I picked Dak because they're both been injury prone. They both are just kind of like meh in the stats column for a while. But Dak, I think, is a lot better than Baker, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. Last game we're going to talk about, guys, is the Washington football team loses. Basically a heartbreaker, because they had several chances to win at the end of the game. I mean, Denver fumbled the ball twice, and Tyler Haneke could not get. Haneke could not get the ball in the end zone. Denver wins a 17-10, just boring freaking game. But I mean, Denver's not going anywhere, man. I mean, they traded Von Miller away today, guys, to the Rams for a second and third, for next year, man. And you know what? LA Rams are going all in or nothing, man.
They are. And if I was the Rams, I would have made that deal all day, every day. That's to get a defensive stud like Miller to help out that offense that is great. I can't wait for the Arizona LA Rams next Arizona Rams game. That one's going to be a good one.
I tell you what, the Rams better win the Super Bowl, because they have mortgaged their future away. They have. I mean, brought in Matt Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, all these other guys coming in, man. And now you have
Miller.
Yeah, Miller coming in, and that's a hell of a defense, man. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Von Miller. But guys, if the Rams don't win it this year, I mean, they have no draft picks in the next 2 years. They're done. So I mean, I don't know how they're going to build on this team, man.
You can trade you can trade some of what you got and move up, and you don't need first round draft picks. 2 seconds is equal to a first, I believe.
Well,
So
look
if
at
you
the Dolphins. They had
but
3
you
first-round
you're
draft
gonna have
picks
to
last
trade
year,
some
and they
stuff to
sucked it
get.
up.
Well, that's the Dolphins. We talked about the horrible management that team is under.
Yeah,
So of course it's gonna be bad.
yeah.
So have you started looking at any mock draft uh, stuff yet?
I have played around with little mock drafts, man. I'll be honest with you, the quarterbacks are. I mean, I think the Nevada quarterback is probably your best one in the draft. I don't see. I mean, there's Malik Mills um, out of
Liberty.
Liberty.
That's exactly where I was going with this. It's and I watched him play to a degree on Saturday, and granted they were playing a terrible UMass team, but I like the kid. He can move. He's got an arm. He's got a head on his shoulders.
He's ranked sixth amongst quarterbacks in the Todd McShay world, as well as Mel Kiper. So I don't know, man. I mean, he's playing for Liberty. He doesn't. He's not playing the greatest talent in the world. But I mean, again, the draft's gonna be interesting. There's just not a lot. I mean, you have Sam, what's his name, out of North Carolina.
I can't. Yeah, guy.
He fell. He's fallen down.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm just not impressed with this quarterback draft.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not either. And Corral and Willis. I just I like the idea of the kid. I mean, he's just a couple hours south of here, playing at Liberty, playing at a school like Liberty. Wouldn't you? I love those sort of stories where I'd love to see him come out of Liberty and start and lead a team to the playoffs here in a couple of years. And so it's to get teams to look to these other schools, these smaller schools, to stay away from your Michigan quarterbacks and your Alabama quarterbacks and your Ohio State quarterbacks who just because they won a national championship, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. It's either he's not necessarily going to plug and play right into your system in the NFL.
Yeah, I do want to hit on college football just a little bit, man. What a game, by the way. Michigan State.
What a game.
What a game. Walker, by the way, I mean, just lock up the Heisman for this kid. 5 touchdowns in a huge game. He's been rising ever since. Dude, Michigan State could win the Big Ten outright, man. They could win it.
I think it's just a couple of weeks here, and they've got a trip to Ohio State. That's going to decide the Big Ten East.
Yeah.
And I'd almost take a flyer on Michigan State winning. I'd watched a handful of Michigan games this year, and I was pretty high on Michigan. And Michigan did not play.
They were 60-1 in the beginning of the season to win the Big Ten.
Michigan did not play a bad game. Michigan State just played a better game.
Well, Michigan played a horrible game after going 30-14, dude, and they lost the game. By the way, I got a question for you guys. Does the Bears fire Matt Nagy and hire Jim Harbaugh as the head coach?
Yes.
Oh,
I could see it happen.
Absolutely.
I could absolutely see it happen.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Harbaugh loses to Ohio State again this year. Then he's not. Things are going to be looking very favorable for him in Ann Arbor. And why not? Why not see what you can do in back in Chicago?
I don't think you want that personality type there after Nagy. I don't think Fields would like playing underneath Harbaugh. That's just me. We're talking about building around Fields. I don't see how that's a good.
Well, he is a Michigan quarterback, or Michigan guy coaching an Ohio State quarterback. That would not be. That's like oil and water, man.
I can't see it. And I mean, every quarterback that's played under Harbaugh pretty much hates the dude. So I don't see it being a.
Well, I mean, look, man, he went to 2 Super Bowls for San Francisco 49ers, man. So he knows how to coach in the NFL. And quite frankly, I mean, I think his brother's a much better coach than him. There's no doubt about it. I mean, John Harbaugh is the man for the Ravens. But I don't know, man. The Bears, I could see them because of the relationship that Jim has always had with the franchise, loves the McCaskey family. I could see him hanging up in Michigan and heading his way just a little south to Illinois and see what happens.
whatever gets Ohio State off his schedule, I'm sure he'd consider it.
Oh my god! Any Ofer?
Over.
He's never
Yes, he's
never beaten Ohio State,
over
right?
Ohio State. Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's like 0-8, 0-9.
Yep.
Almost a decade of getting beat by your rival. Every
That's
season.
terrible.
Not great. That's
Yeah.
not good.
No, that's terrible.
At Michigan, man. I mean, yeah.
Can I ask you this, guys? Does, speaking of college football coaches, does Urban Meyer coach the Jags next year?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. I don't think that the NFL's cut out for what he's got.
USC comes calling?
I think he probably hangs them up out of ego damage. I just don't think the players like playing for him in Jacksonville, man. They just
No,
don't
they've certainly given up on the guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Man, there's besides the the Michigan State game. There was a couple of other great games that. Well, I mean, I'm going to say great games. A couple of the games that kind of caught my eye. Miami actually goes to Pittsburgh and beats Pittsburgh 38-34, man. Hangs on with the last turnover there, man. Miami, that one shocked me, man. Pittsburgh's a good team. Losing to Miami, that's going to be a killer, dude. And West Virginia takes out Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one, man. That kind of shocked me there.
And still, Georgia's 8-0, I believe. I think only 2 games this season they've given up 10 or more. They hold Florida to 7. What is this defense? I told you after college football week 1, the Clemson game. You're like, this defense isn't it. It's in college football where these offenses regularly go for 30 and 40 points, and you're not against Georgia.
It's incredible. In fact, I think they're like the 6th best defensive team in college football history, is what I saw.
Oh, I'd believe it.
I think if we're doing a metric of what that means in today's sport, that means they're the best ever.
Oh, I agree. Oh yeah, in recent memory, absolutely. Hey, did you guys? Speaking of Houston, did you guys see Houston's kickoff touchdown against SMU?
No, I saw that it was something weird, otherworldly, but I missed how it went down.
Well, how Greg knows about this is because
Greg had money on the game.
Greg had SMU as a pick'em.
Yeah. Sorry about you, man. Greg,
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, like, speaking of your like we were talking about your Bears, is Harbaugh your dream hire? Is that who you want them to hire?
No.
Who do you want them to hire?
No. Honestly, I want Mike Tomlin. I mean,
Really?
I really want Mike Tomlin. Yeah.
So do 31 other teams in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, that would be my dream hire to have. Because he's a defensive-minded guy, but I think he could put people in place to really utilize the quarterback talent of Justin Fields, man, because I think it's phenomenal. Rodney Kinnan asks, who will LSU hire? That's a great question, man.
Yeah, Coach O out. I love that dude, man. He is the perfect water boy.
Oh yeah.
He's like
Right.
Go Tigers.
Man, I don't even know who would be a great fit for that.
So, honest to God, man, look, LSU's probably the best college football coaching job in college football. There's listen, here's why I say that. Here's why I think about this real quick. LSU could be a very dominant team if they pick the right people. And the reason why I say this is because look, Alabama and Nick Saban. Nick Saban's 70 years old. He just turned 70. Okay. He says he has 10 more years left in him. There's no way. Okay. Nick Saban's maybe got 2 more years and he's done. Right. That means Alabama's freaking football team and their program is going to go downhill. Okay. You got a guy being able to go into LSU, which is amazing talent all the way through and through. Just obviously they're 2 years removed from the national championship. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're a storied college football team in Baton Rouge, and everybody loves Baton Rouge going down there. This could be the number one college football coaching job ever, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's really fitting in their place. Then you have 2023. You've got Texas and Oklahoma coming, which we know even LSU just beat the tar out of these guys. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma don't even belong in the SEC,
Nope.
but they could be a dominant SEC Western Conference team if they choose the right coach. Now, who is the right coach for that area? I don't know, man. I mean, who's going to be able to fit that culture down there?
But LSU, I have the confidence they are going to do it right. They're going to say, you have to come in, you have to fit this culture, you have to accept what LSU is and was, and accept the history, because you have to get the fans on that coach's side, and you're going to hand them great talent. So I have confidence that they'll get that. I tell you, if I had my pick out of any SEC coaching job to take, it would probably be LSU, because I know if I go in there and I perform well, I could end up as governor of Louisiana.
For sure.
The same thing can be said of the coaching job at the University of West Virginia. If Don Nehlen ran today for governor of West Virginia, Don Nehlen would get elected. So LSU is the same thing. That's what I love so much about college sports, is that connection. You have more of a connection with your college team than any professional sports team.
Rodney says Urban. I don't think Urban Meyer's fit for that job, man. Or Lane Kiffin. I don't think he's fit for that job either.
Hey, Rodney, have you ever seen Kiffin's Coach's Corner? If you haven't, go to YouTube, check out Kiffin's Coach's Corner. There's probably 2 or 3 episodes. You'll get quite a kick out of it.
I do want to say, whoever LSU does decide to go down, I hope it's someone that can recruit quarterbacks. When LSU has a competent quarterback, they are nasty. And when they don't, they are just a team full of amazing athletes, and they're average. Seems like any year they do something, like our boy right now playing for the Bengals.
I got a crazy name out there, and the only reason why I say this, because he would be a great coach down there, just because of the culture and the fun he would have. Mike Leach from Mississippi State.
I'm serious. Mike Leach coached at Oklahoma State, right?
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
There was Washington State.
Mike Leach, that would be great, and it's the personality that could fit in there.
I think the school would have a ton of fun with this guy, and I would love to see Mike Leach. But again, he's Mississippi State, man. It was kind of like a fallback job for him after he lost to Washington State. But he's doing a decent job at Mississippi State, not catching the world on fire. They did just beat Kentucky, which is a pretty strong school. But I do like to see – I would like to see something fun like that. And Rodney says, I like the Cincinnati head coach. The Cincinnati head coach is – I think he's going to the NFL, man. I mean, a lot of guys are going to be after this guy in the NFL. But I think a Mike Leach would be a great fit. It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun to watch. And the guy knows how to coach the quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair. I am worried about his defense.
There's no defense in
there's no defense.
Georgia.
There's not in the SEC, right?
No.
Yeah.
The odds-on favorite to get the job is James Franklin, followed by Lane Kiffin, Mel Tucker, and then Jimbo Fisher. Surprisingly, I don't know why he would leave A&M.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. James Franklin, though, man.
That's the odds-on favorite. I just looked up because I was like, I wonder who Vegas is projecting as the best odds. And that's...
look, they know. They know what's going on. You know what I mean? They know what's up. But, it's going to be – I don't know. I mean, James Franklin, though, I think he's lost his team in Penn State, man. I mean, I just don't think that Penn State is responding to his stuff anymore, man.
I think you could be right, and that Illinois loss stung. I think took the wind out of the sails to come into this to the Ohio State game.
Can anybody guess what the record is for Penn State in the games of the whiteout games at Lions or whatever stadium it is called? At Nittany Lions Stadium.
Well, you're asking, so I'm going to say it's going to be pretty poor.
It's exactly 500.
Wow.
It doesn't make a difference either way. They're 500 in the whiteout game at Nittany Lions Stadium. So
I don't think that Penn State performs well in prime time either. But they like playing their noon games.
they do.
Yeah.
Against weak teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So if you're Mel Tucker, would you leave Michigan State to take that
all
job?
day long?
To go to LSU, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Even if you run the Big Ten undefeated,
Yep.
Have a good showing.
Yep.
Because he's got young. His team is young.
Go undefeated at Michigan State. Take that resume. Go to the playoffs. Take that resume. Go to LSU, and you're going to have kids beating down your doors. Where do you want to go play football at? Do you want to go to LSU or do you want to go to Michigan State?
I got one more name I'm going to throw out to the LSU job. See what you guys think about this one. Dabo Swinney.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. That's the. I could see him. I like him going there, and he's going to bring the cachet.
Yeah, every interview I see with Dabo, I'm like, I want to drink beer with that guy. Seems cool. Seems like a cool dude, man. And if I was a kid, I would.
Perfect fit for Baton Rouge.
See, here's what's great about college football in the coaches world, right? Coaches can leave at any time, right? It's not like NFL. You can't really trade NFL coaches unless there's all this draft picks. All the schools have to do is buy out the current contract. And Dabo Swinney, I think, just signed a 10-year contract, 2-3 years ago. So they would buy him out, right? Buy out that contract and then sign him to their own contract. So, I mean, that's how college football works, man. I mean, you can buy out anybody's contract.
You've got a donor who's going to sign that check too. So the school isn't even on the hook for it.
100% agree with you on that, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the actually next couple of weeks, guys. I mean, look, we're in November. This is November 1st. College football season is almost done, and then we're going to have bowl season here coming up soon. But by the way, guys, we have football games every night this week.
Ooh, all right.
Yes, we do. We've got football games every night this week. This is where this is the kind of time of season the MAC starts playing their Tuesday and Wednesday night games and all that stuff. So pretty cool stuff, man, going on. But we also have a Monday night football game going on. Man,
if you were the Giants, would you show up? Well, I'll tell you, I take that back. Early season, you might think that, but this Chiefs team is not the last 2 years Chiefs team. I'd almost give the Giants a 50-50 chance.
Well, listen, the Giants are 11-point underdogs in this game, but you know what? The Kansas City Chiefs, I think, have only covered one game this year. That's it. They have been playing terrible.
I think you're well. The 4 of those games have been losses.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They look bad. They look bad.
Conditions at Arrowhead Stadium is 39 degrees, guys. Clear, cloudy skies. A little cooler, but the game line over under is 53. I don't think it hits the over. Do you?
No.
Well, Rodney, I think Rodney, I like your 31-17 Kansas City. That's going to keep you in the under.
That's
KC gets theirs. To get, what'd you say, 56? You're going to count on the Giants scoring. Who's going to bet on the Giants scoring?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a name. I'm going to give you a name to watch out for, and I think he's going to score a touchdown tonight. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from the Giants. I think the kid has a breakout game today. Watch this kid today for the Giants. Toney for the Giants, man. Watch him.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? If the Giants do steal this upset, you would have the New York Giants at 3-5 and the Kansas City Chiefs at 3-5.
Ooh, that's pretty ugly.
You think it's just they figured the Chiefs out? You think it's just Mahomes getting figured out a little bit? The team's lackadaisical. I mean,
well, like I said in the beginning of the year, man, I said this, and I said, look, there's a small time window that these quarterbacks shine, like a Mahomes, like a LeVar Jackson, these defensive coaches are so daggone good. They will figure you out. Running quarterbacks struggle in the NFL. They just do. You'll always have a game plan to spy them. I don't care how good out of the pocket. You might have one good year or 2 good years and all that stuff, but eventually these defensive coaches will figure you out and they'll pin you down. Mike Vick had 2-3 good years. That's it. And they figured him out.
I'd take these mobile
Randall
quarterbacks.
Cunningham, same thing. 1 or 2 year.
I'd take these mobile quarterbacks and just turn them into mobile quarterbacks. Roll left, roll right. Every now and then take a run. But not rely on your legs. If you've got the wheels, you can get outside the pocket, move the pocket. That's where you're going to throw defenses off more for a longer period of time than just running the ball.
I don't actually think Mahomes is that archetype of Lamar Jackson or a Mike Vick or something like that. I think he's way more Aaron Rodgers, where he can run. He is mobile, but I think he wants to stand back there and throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But his offensive line sucks.
So you need to be you need to be rolling them out. And let him throw on the move, because he's got receivers that can go downfield and get the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know if you follow. I don't know if
Like,
you follow
they're
the NBA, man, but we got some scores here in the NBA. Cleveland is beating Charlotte, man, 63-48, late in the second quarter. I'm shocked by that score. Also, Chicago Bulls are 1 point behind Boston, 35-34. Another blowout game already in place. The Knicks are looking fantastic against Toronto. They're looking fantastic in general, but they're up on Toronto 34-26. They're up by 8. And then another blowout game, guys. Indiana Pacers are blowing out San Antonio 78-56. What is going on in San Antonio, man?
78-56, and that game's just at the half.
It's just at the half. Yeah.
Yeah. San Antonio had their time at the top of the table where they ate everyone and ate all the food and took everyone's lunch money. So I don't have any pity for the Spurs.
I don't either
for a while.
Yeah, I'm not a Popovich lover, man. I'm not a fan of him.
Quick scan of the NBA. Who's sitting atop the East right now?
New York Knicks
and
Chicago Bulls
and
Washington Wizards.
The Washington Wizards, along with Miami. All 4 of those teams are sitting at 5-1 right now. I don't know if anybody's played anybody or anything right now like
That's
that.
off the top of my head, man. How impressive is that, guys? You don't think I don't know sports? I know sports. Get out of here.
Man, when you started that off, I felt like we were in the 90s. Bulls and Knicks were good.
Bulls and Knicks. Yeah, and until that Washington Wizards thing came in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in this area, the Washington Wizards have been a joke of a franchise for the better part of 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
Leonsis bought the Capitals from Poland. Poland. And with the first right of refusal to buy the Wizards, he wanted the Wizards, but he had to take the Capitals and lead the Capitals through some very lean years. And finally, when he got the ownership of the Wizards here a few years ago, it's taken him some time to get and with the NBA is way more difficult. To get the right coaches in place and picking the right players, and so this could be a time where the tide's turning, and you could see a Washington Wizards contending a little bit in the East here.
Yeah, but NBA, of all the sports, the coaches don't matter. Okay, they're just sit there. They can say what they want. The players run the league. The players run the floor, and it's impossible now in today's NBA. If you don't have 3 good starters, you get minimum of 3. You're not going to win.
And I think that's what Washington has had to do. They've had to find those 3, and they finally settled on a 3 that are capable. And hey, maybe some decent things happening down on F Street with the Washington Wizards this year.
I like the Bulls, man. I tell you what, man, with Ball, Caruso, and Levine, I think that's a solid 3.
I think it's solid. I don't think it does anything going
For the
deep
East,
into the
it
year.
does a lot.
Well, yeah, okay,
You know what I
fair
mean?
enough.
It's not a star-studded West, man. But for the
Yeah.
East, I think that's I mean, their defense, by the way, man, Caruso and Ball. I mean, their defense is just solid. Now, Ball, he's not like a lights out point guard or anything like that, man. But I just like the Bulls, man. I really do. I think they make some noise. I really do.
Okay. Yeah,
I
and, yeah. Coaches NBA don't matter, but player value higher than any other sport, in my opinion. When you pick a guy high in the draft, he better be good.
Yes.
Right. See the Washington Wizards for the last 20 years.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, obviously the Bucks are still out there, man. The Bucks look fantastic. I mean, you know, Giannis is just a machine. I mean, the guy. Okay, who's playing better now, Giannis or LeBron?
Ooh. I mean,
I'm gonna say
the past year and a half, it's Giannis, but LeBron's still LeBron, man. I can't talk bad about the guy. They're both great, dude. I would take either one of them on the Rockets instantly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. One last thing, we'll get out of here, guys. Give me who's gonna be the first NFL coach to get fired?
Nagy.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, is Detroit going to fire their coach? Is Miami going to fire their coach? Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer was maybe
that's.
I asked you this because the NFL just came up with this little deal that just came out. They just agreed on this. The NFL is allowing now to where you were not allowed to interview your coach's replacements during the middle of the year. You were not allowed. You had to wait till the season is over with. Now they're allowing NFL teams to interview coaches 2 weeks prior to the playoffs. Okay. So in week 15, or I'm sorry, 16 now, in week 16, you are now allowed to hire or interview potential outside coaches to fill the position, which means there's going to be a lot more in-season firings.
And what's that going to be? That's going to be coordinators. I was thinking about this as we were talking about who could be your college coaches. I could see some of that stuff. But how about just popped into my head for a Chicago possible Chicago head coach. How about Ron Rivera?
I would love Ron Rivera.
Do you think how long do you think Ron Rivera is going to survive in Washington?
Well, I think Ron Rivera quits before he's fired because I think Washington needs Ron Rivera more so than Ron Rivera needs Washington.
I think Ron Rivera in Chicago would be a whole lot better than Ron Rivera.
I tell you who would be a great defensive coordinator with Ron.
Who you got?
Buddy Ryan's son.
Oh yeah.
Old Rexy.
Yeah.
Old Rexy Ryan, man. Bring him to Chicago, man. In his dad's footsteps, coming in defensive coordinating for Chicago with Ron Rivera. Come on, man. That would be it.
Yeah. So but I just think that I hope for your sake that management realizes that Nagy is the problem with Chicago and with that team this year, and just boots him. Maybe when the NCAA season ends and they can start looking at some of these coaches, that you could see that happen. But it's there's no way he's on past the day after the last day of the season in Chicago.
I'm gonna say Urban Meyer's first to go. One, like the Tebow parade at the start of the season, I think that probably pissed management off.
Disaster.
2, the players already quit. The Bears look like they're still playing.
Yeah.
And like Sam said, which is a great point, and Chicago obviously hasn't seen it yet. Nagy is the problem. I feel like they don't want to see that. They have rose-colored tinted glasses.
Well, the problem is Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are tied at the hip, right? Until upper management, I'm talking about like McCaskey, does something about Ryan Pace, it's going to be very difficult for Ryan Pace to get rid of Matt Nagy. And again, they're already making excuses saying, well, if you get rid of Nagy, then you're going to disrupt the growth of Justin Fields, and having several different coaches throughout his tenure is not healthy. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I get that, but you know what, dude? This is Justin Fields' first year. He's going to be okay if he gets another coach in a whole nother system come next year. So he's got to go. There's no doubt about it. I think Joe Judge goes too. I think Joe Judge with Gettleman from the Giants, they're not responding to them either. They've got
Flores in Miami. I just don't like what's going on in Miami. Yeah. And I think and like you said, I can see Rivera quitting. If I was Rivera, it's the bye week. I'd quit right now. He's in a terrible situation. Wrote an article, put it up today at motionsportsnetwork.com. I'm probably going to be the last Taylor Heineke fan ever. I'm going to be on the guy's side until the very end, until he is not playing in the NFL again. He's the best. He's the best thing that Washington has, but Washington is just too stupid to know it. And it's Rivera could turn this kid into a great quarterback, but they're now, the talk is they're still looking for their franchise quarterback. All right, great, you've killed his confidence. So hope you enjoy a 3-14 season, Washington.
Over under 6 is the number for head coaches to get fired in the NFL this year.
Are you saying if they get that's the wins? That's the least amount of wins they can have?
No. That's the number of coaches out of 32.
How many? How many? Coaches?
Yep.
I'll go
say under.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go under there too, or take 6 on the nose. 6 sounds like a good number. 7 seems like way too many. I don't think there's 7 places where 7 teams that should be looking to get rid of their quarterbacks or head coaches rather this season.
There are 5 horribly coached teams, and there's 7 that are bad. But I think 2 of them, or maybe 6 on the dot, keep their job. So.
Well,
Denver just got a new GM. I don't think he keeps Vic Fangio.
No, there's been some just slipped my mind. Keep talking. I'll think again.
I did want to say this about the Washington team. The first quarterback in the mock draft that they're projecting off the board is to Washington with the number 7 pick is where they're projecting it at, and it's Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. So
really, wow,
that Matt is.
Yeah. That's the is that the CBS mock draft?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I looked at. I think it was Pro Football Focus shows them getting Malik Willis.
Okay.
So I mean, it's way too early to get mock drafts. But if you're Washington, I'd start thinking about a draft right now. You're going to have to pick it in the top 5, if the top 3.
I thought it was interesting because we've watched some Heineke, and for a kid that's just going out there and putting it on the line, gutsy performances, and for you're human, you see mock draft, you hear them talking about franchise quarterback in Washington. That's just can't feel good.
Here's my issue with what's happening with Washington with Heineke. Take a quarterback who is capable. I'm not saying that this guy is great by any stretch of the imagination. He's capable, and he's got some weapons that around him that they can use. So you have him. You can make this guy into what you want him to be. You just have to put in the work. He's rough around the edges, sure, but he's good enough. He's going to make a mistake, but I bet you he doesn't.
Like Carson Strong from Nevada, man. He is a Josh Allen type quarterback. Can run, can pass. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. He's got 3,000 yards already. He's 5th in the college football right now in passing yards. 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Guys, I mean, this kid is strong. I mean, like his last name. He is a strong, upright quarterback. Can play NFL, man. He's got a rocket arm. He is a Josh Allen style. Think of Josh Allen. I mean, that's who Carson Strong is. I think that's your first quarterback going in the first pick, man.
That's the cool thing about the NFL draft is which quarterback wins the Heisman if it's quarterback. He's not always your first pick. They've got to go through all of their off-season looks and combine and everything like that, and then that's where you'll see a guy like Strong move up a little bit more than originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs now, it's 2nd and 5 on the New York Giants 12, first possession of the game, and the Chiefs are driving down. Now it's 1st and goal on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 1st and goal on the Giants 7-yard line. So There you go. Chiefs marching it right down off the get go.
Shocker.
Yeah, yeah, shocker, big time. So I don't know, man. Jeez, I mean, I can't think of another team really that scores so many points off the first drive than the freaking Kansas City Chiefs, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they just come out on firing on all cylinders, and then
They have to. If they get behind, like their defense can't stop anyone. So
That's true.
they have to score. You have to score first.
That's true. Second and goal, guys, on the New York Giants 5. Let's see. They're running the ball, man. Running the ball a lot. Let's see.
Let's go back over here. Ah, crap. Lightning are up 2-1 on Washington now.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Daggone it. Dude, the Lightning are always our nemesis, man.
Yeah. It's not Hedman. Dang it. Somebody from Tampa has already been put on long-term IR. They're setting themselves up for another salary cap scuttle like they did last year. Dang it, who was it? Kucherov's hurt. I think I saw it looking like a long-term kind of deal for Kucherov so that they can manipulate the cap like they did last year.
I don't know. Like, what is it? Baseball? Is it baseball that has the luxury tax rules, right?
Yes.
They always do the same thing.
Soft cap.
Soft cap, yeah. But if you break it 2 years in a row, then
Your
you get charged.
percentage goes up, I believe.
To 35%, and you lose draft picks.
Okay.
That should be the way things should run in just about every sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but hockey is that's very, very, very difficult. You've got your teams like Arizona, who probably shouldn't even have a team, but they're working off of a completely different set of rules, financial wise, than the New York Rangers and the TV money that they can get. I like the salary floor that the NHL uses.
Yeah.
If you take a look, go across every sport, take a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I think you could come up with a perfect thing. I like the NBA's got some cool salary cap rules where a player that has been on your team for 3 years, you can sign them for a year longer than anybody else. I like the luxury tax of baseball. I like the soft cap or the salary floor of the NHL. And the non-guaranteed money in the NFL, you put all that together, you could make a great
guys.
structure.
Patrick
for
Mahomes just got intercepted in the end zone. Man, touchback. Giants now have the ball. 1st and 10 on the Giants 20-yard line.
Hey, let's go 3 and 5 apiece. I can't wait.
Right? How strange would that be to say that the New York Giants are 3? And remember who the Giants, one of those losses is to? Washington.
Yes, correct.
No, it's to Heineke.
Okay, yeah.
He 1v10 that whole game, man. That was gritty performance, man. Love to see that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the stuff that I like about the kid. It's a heart that he has that you can't teach that heart. You can't coach that heart. You can't practice that heart. He's just got it.
Oh, it's like when Colt McCoy came in for you guys a couple of years ago. I didn't even love Colt when he was at Texas, but when he was playing in a Redskins jersey, I was like, "Do it, Colt."
No, I know, but the kid,
please,
the kid just.
Blake, let me just correct you just a little bit there. I am not a Washington football fan. I am stuck watching and listening to Washington football because of where we live. It's the it doesn't matter if Chiefs Titans last weekend, that game was not on in this area. Well, there was a Ravens game and there was a Washington game on. So it's the stuff that we're stuck with. There's a funny thing in Washington. When the Redskins win, traffic is better the Monday following a Redskins win than a Redskins loss.
That's true.
I would always root for Washington to win just for at least one better day of traffic.
Correct. I mean, it's just amazing because, I mean, instead of sitting in traffic for 3 hours, you're sitting in it for 2. Yeah.
But the things that go on in this city with these fans, is just absolutely maddening. When the season's over and they start signing, usually it happens around the time of the draft and free agency. The fans are going to say, well, we signed this guy and we drafted this kid and this, and so here's our roadmap to winning the NFC East. And oh yeah, we're Super Bowl contenders every single year.
Yeah, it's
That
god
is
awful.
This is a historically mediocre franchise, except for a few Joe Gibbs seasons in the 80s. They are a mediocre to poor franchise.
Well, I did tell you I live in Dallas, so if we're going 8-8 for 10 years in a row, whatever the Cowboys did, every year was this is our year. Feed Dak attack. You know, it's the same thing. Right? It's every franchise. They all
Guys,
do it.
who's your MVP this year so far in the NFL?
It was Derrick Henry, and
Right, but now that's over.
Yeah,
sure. But I don't even
Kyler
have
Murray.
Oh,
Kyler Murray.
Mm.
I mean, look. Anybody expect what he's doing in Arizona? And it's possible that things fall back to earth for the Cardinal here in the second half of the season. But he leads them into the playoffs, wins that division. It's Kyler Murray.
I guess I'd have to go to Josh Allen probably. I'm sitting there trying to think about who are the top teams performing outside the Cardinals. Josh Allen is.
I would agree. I would agree with
Buffalo,
you,
dude.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Kind of both on that. But after watching the game Thursday night, how could you not say Aaron Rodgers, man? Aaron Rodgers.
Because I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, everybody is. Trust me,
believe
you me, I am too. But man, Aaron Rodgers had zero talent on that team Thursday night. Zero. And they still won the game. I mean,
they beat the Cardinals.
They beat the Cardinals. You take off Aaron Rodgers off the Green Bay Packers, they are trash.
They could be competing for a number 1 overall draft pick. Yes.
Correct. So MVP is most valuable player, right?
Yeah.
I've seen lots of MVPs not go to the MVP.
And,
I just think Josh Allen or Kyler Murray is a more odds-on favorite at this point to win it over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Cardinals and Murray come back down to earth a little bit the second half of the season. Josh Allen's going to continue to be Josh Allen. He's going to win that division easily. But like you said, Greg, with the talent around Rodgers, as more people start to see that, think about that, and look at that, they're going to the playoffs easy. He could still lead that team to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I agree with Rodney Diggs by far. For the defense, I mean, look, he's got 7 interceptions in 6 games or something like that, which is ridiculous. He was hurt when he hurt last night. I don't remember seeing him on the field.
I couldn't even tell you, but I mean, half the time they take him out in the fourth quarter because they don't want him to get hurt.
Well, I tell you, Diggs
Diggs
is phenomenal. I mean, as a cornerback, my gosh, the kid is amazing. He is solid. I mean, he's a standout defensive player for sure. And the Chiefs getting the ball right back now. They're first and goal. New York Giants 3.
I didn't expect that to take very long. It's just the New York Giants we're talking about.
I can't believe the Giants didn't sustain an 8-minute drive there.
Yeah.
Did the play get overturned? I didn't see anything. What happened there?
The interception there? I don't know. I'm kind of following along with the Cavs game.
Nope. The freaking Giants threw an interception too.
Okay. All right.
They traded interceptions.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Earlier we were talking about what's the recipe financial wise for the leagues to make it an interesting product, because there is leagues I watch for soccer where there is no cap. There's only what they call financial fair play, but it's not. You can spend 10 to 20 times another team's salary, and it creates this.
And the Chiefs just scored a touchdown Turret Hill for 6 yards.
There you go. This block of dominance, and MLB has struggled with that, and recently, Greg, we were talking about it. What is up with these smaller market teams?
Here's the problem with soccer. Here's the problem with soccer, dude. Like you're talking about, they don't have a cap, but they do have financial burdens, so to speak, right? The problem with that is this: the smaller teams are they'll dissolve, and they have.
Agreed.
How many times have you seen in soccer like these smaller, market teams come and go? You can't have that as a league. You have to sustain. If the teams come in, even if you're going to do revenue sharing or whatever, the league is better as a whole for all those teams to stay, right? And I don't like baseball. You've got smaller market teams and then larger market teams, and then they're always larger market teams seem to always have an advantage because they'll pay a payroll of 200 million, like the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, and so on and so forth, man. And they're always in contention. I don't think that's healthy either, but at least the smaller teams are not dissolving. You know what I mean? There is a shared component to that.
But you have to look at
That's what I'm
when you look at the overall health of the league. Let's say that this World Series was the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins and the Oakland Athletics.
No one would ever watch.
No one would be watching it. And Houston, is Houston one of your better big market teams? TV market, Houston's a very, very, very big media market,
largest in the nation.
And Atlanta, there's people, where I grew up in West Virginia, there were Atlanta Braves fans because of Superstation TBS. That's the spread that the Atlanta Braves have had. So
Cubs games all over the station because
Cubs games too. Yeah, you're talking about salary fairness and everything like that. And time for my weekly F1 minute here. There's some that's F1 had realized a couple years ago its competitive imbalance, and they've put more rules in over the last couple of years, and they're implementing them in times and where they're cutting down the budgets the teams can run out there. And so it used to be whoever took the lead on lap one was never passed. And that was it. Now there's some back and forth. A lot of good racing can happen because they have evened the playing field out, and that's drawing more fans, drawing more eyeballs in.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess in my perfect world, I think Greg kind of is touching on this. Like, you want your picks to matter. If I'm a franchise and I'm building a good farm system or feeder team or whatever whatever league we're talking about, and you're doing your draft research and you're paying guys that are great scouts, and then you have another team that's your rival and they're like, well, we just dropped $300 million this year. I don't care who you drafted because you're not going to beat us.
Yeah.
That feels not fun to watch, in my opinion.
So here's, I think the perfect league setup would be this, man. If kind of like a mixture of a revenue share plus a more capitalistic, like have the Yankees make as much money as they want to, have their own networks, go at it, make billions of dollars a year, go for it. But I think like the smaller market teams like an Oakland or, Oakland's not a small market team, but Miami and, like Tampa Bay and all those other guys, they have a minimum revenue recognition of, let's say, $500 million or whatever that number is. You know what I mean? But then if you're going to revenue share, then you have a minimum salary cap that you have to basically play your players. Like, you can't have Tampa Bay Devil Rays have a revenue sharing model and then not pay your players, because they've been doing that for years. You know what I'm saying? They have to have $100 million invested in their team, minimum. You know what I mean? If we're going to give you a $500 million, then you're going to have to invest $100 million back into your team. That is, I think, the perfect league, financial model that you have to follow. Now, getting the owners to agree on that, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that, I think, takes care of a big problem in tanking. You have to reinvest this much back into the team where you can't just take a year to just put out horrible product on the field to bank on a future player that you're probably going to trade away.
Well, that's what they do. Yeah,
I know, but the A's were notorious for that. Josh Donaldson, good, because the A's are a small market team. They are. They're in Oakland, but they're small market. They do not pay their guys.
They manage like a small market. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't pay their guys. They almost always trade away their best players. Like, in recent time, they've been like, "Oh, we're going to give it a run." But Cespedes.
But here's the deal. I mean, don't you think though, if the ownerships are the owners of the league. Of course they are. But don't you think that owners should hold other owners accountable and say, look, man, we are put a rule in place that if you're not going to be competitive or try to be competitive within a decade's time, dude, your franchise is gone. Like, we'll dissolve it. You know what I mean? Or they'll move it.
I'm for you. If the collective bargaining is X amount of dollars, we're just throwing a number up there, 10 million, you have to invest 2 million of it into your team. The 20%, whatever that collective bargaining total number is. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're getting at, man. Like there should be a bare minimum that the teams have to invest if they buy into the market share, the revenue sharing. If they're a team that has a big following and they say we don't want that, then do whatever you want.
Right. It benefits everybody, like the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, for the Major League Baseball to be competitive as a whole, because a competitive league brings interest, right? It brings, if you always have the same teams winning over and over and over again, like Alabama in college football, you just lose viewership, man, because it's like, why would I want to watch Alabama winning 7 straight, titles? I mean, we all know what's going to happen. I'm not going to be invested in the league. I'm not going to be invested in college football. It just goes away. But if you have college football, constantly changing champions, and you don't know who's going to win for year after year after year, and they're all competitive, man, that's where all the fans kind of, get involved with their local teams and get involved, with the sport as a whole. And everybody wins, man. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about Georgia earlier. Georgia's kind of ruining the season for me. Just being real honest, like when the first 3 games I saw them play, I was like, I don't have to watch anything else. Like, I probably know who's winning it. Alabama was kind of the last hope, and they don't.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, come the SEC championship, if Alabama and Georgia, gets there, it's going to break ratings records. It will.
You're talking about being competitive is good for MLB. They want Yankees, Red Sox. They want, on the NL side, Dodgers, whoever. They don't care, but they want that. That's why they hated the Astros for all those years before the cheating thing, was because we beat the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yeah.
God, that cost them so much money. And then they hate the Rays for that too.
I hate the Rays. I mean, they're successful, what they do, but again, they cycle through every 3 years. They do the same thing over 3 years. And again, they get rid of their best players and they rebuild. And again, it's just analytics and all that crap. I mean,
I think that's where we're at in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was the most fun World Series you remember watching? Because one of my favorite ones, like, that didn't involve one of my teams, was when the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees. And they were sign stealing. Luis Gonzalez hitting it up the middle, skipping. I didn't think I'd ever watch a World Series like that, and just wanted to watch the Yankees lose so bad. What about you?
See, I go way back, man. I go back to the Red Sox Mets, man. I mean, that World Series was phenomenal. Maybe love baseball.
Maybe not as far back, but 88, the Dodgers, Kirk Gibson. That was totally just a blast to watch. I didn't root for either team, but that's what baseball. That was when I was really, really in love with baseball. And unfortunately, it's waned over the last decade or so here now. But
another one, I was super excited because I was a fan, was the Marlins and Yankees when Gary Sheffield was on the Marlins team and actually beat the Yankees. I literally ran out in my underwear in the front yard just cheering it up, man. That was like, because 92 was the first inaugural season. 91-92 was the first inaugural season of the Marlins. And I being in Florida all the time, I grew up kind of down there, and I collected every little Marlins thing I could ever get my hands on.
Greg, about your love with the Marlins, teaser, everybody's got to come back. You have to hear the story of Greg's fishing hat.
You got to tell me, because I have no idea which. It was my Marlins hat.
We'll tell it one day. It's 10th grade chemistry class.
I don't remember.
I'm losing all kinds of stuff here. Okay, all right, fine. We'll do it this week then. 10th grade chemistry
Hell
class.
yeah.
We're sitting there, and our you've got your Marlins hat laying on the desk, and the teacher walks by and says, "Is that your fishing hat?" Because it had the Marlin on the front of the hat. It had the Marlin on it. I can't believe it. And we just looked at him. You and I were sitting right next to each other. We looked at him and just like, what the heck are you talking about, old man? Fishing hat. I swear, I can't believe you don't remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, dude, high school was a blur, man. You know how high school was. Man. I was half drunk.
It was, but that was one of the things that I just never gonna forget. Your fishing hat,
man. On Jim Luvier saying the Braves of the '90s, man. God, the Braves in the '90s are the Bills of the '90s.
They only made it once.
They've
made it. I mean, they won it once.
I bet they won it once, but what, they lose it 3 times?
Yeah, I mean, but you had Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz. Who's their fourth?
Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz. Dang, who was that? Who's their number 4?
This is gonna kill me. Wasn't Albert Bell on that team at one point?
Oh God!
I know he was in the Indians, and then he went to.
I only remember him as an Indian.
Steve Avery.
That's it. Steve Avery. Yep, that's it. That's right. Yep.
Tommy Green has had some good years there too.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I'm trying to think of their lineup.
Fred McGriff.
That was awesome.
Fred McGriff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dang! I was just reading about this the other day, and it was a murderer's row that those '90s Braves had.
Oh God, this is going to drive me crazy. I'm trying to think of their shortstop that was absolutely spectacular. This is going to drive me crazy.
I know we're going to do a good dive into the okay. So there's the 95 Braves.
I only had Phil Niekro on hand, and I don't have anything else.
Oh no. This was. I mean, I'm telling you guys. I mean,
how about here's a name for you, Terry Pendleton.
Terry Pendleton, that's another one.
They this is saying they lost Pendleton before they won the series in '95. But Terry Pendleton had some great years.
Yeah,
Chipper Jones. Yep.
95 Braves opening day starters. Your shortstop was
David
Jeff
Justice.
Blauser.
David Justice was another one, man.
Yeah.
Blauser, Marquise Grissom, Chipper Jones, Dave Justice, Mike Kelly, Mark Lemke at second base. Oh, I hated Mark Lemke. He caught everything that was hit within 6 miles of him.
Yeah.
And Fred McGriff. Yeah, that was a darn good team.
Yeah, David Justice was. I remember getting a David Justice rookie card. Man, I was so excited to get. Man, it was crazy. Ron Gant. That's the guy I was thinking about.
Ronnie Gant. Yep.
Ron Gant. Yep. That was another one, man. That was solid. So.
What confused him with Ronnie Garvin?
Our main man Robert Brown reminded me about John Rocker. I had forgotten about.
John Rocker. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, this is a wormhole we've gone down in '90s baseball.
Oh my gosh, man. John Rocker was like the Tommy
John Daly of baseball.
Exactly. I was gonna say what's that guy's boxer? Tommy, whatever his name is. It was in the movie with Sylvester Stallone.
Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Moore. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. But I mean, those were good old days, man. I mean, they showed up, showed out, man. But they always got beaten in the freaking series, man. It's crazy. They could not put it together.
That was just a different
still 7-0, guys. Giants have the ball. 1st and 10 on the Giants 15. So I mean, first quarter is about 3 minutes to go, and Giants only down 7, man. I thought it'd be a little bit more of a blowout than that, to be honest with you, quite frankly, man.
Yeah, Giants hanging tough, only down 7. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's still early. Still early.
Yeah. Trying to say something positive about the Giants and realized I just don't have it in me. So I give College
Caps
try,
are
though.
still down 2-1. End of second. So,
Yep.
tag on it, man.
Oh, let's see. Wow, I haven't seen paid attention to our comments
The Yankees with Ron Guidry. Man, that
here
is
a little bit. Where are we
throwback.
at? Braves in the 90s.
Ron Guidry.
Yeah.
Ron Guidry.
Ron
yeah, man.
Guidry.
Remember him?
Ron Guidry. Was he from Louisiana? I want to say Ron Guidry was from Louisiana because I swear I remember Dustin Stute talking about singing the praises of Ron Guidry.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Man, I tell you, I mean, Yankees pitching, is iconic. Even more current. With some of their rosters, man. Yeah, he's from Lafayette. Mhm.
Nice. Good call, Sam. Deep cut.
Yep.
Yeah. That was just
Down to 1% of a battery. I think I'm getting all kinds of static and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop off. Man, this has
Yeah,
been a blast.
we're-
We've done almost
Oh, man.
2 hours here.
Almost,
But
man. This is
I may not make it to sign off, guys. Blake, it was awesome. Greg, it was a blast.
Yeah.
It was a blast as always. I'll see everybody again.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Go to motionsports.net, man. Go to motionsports.com.
Next week,
Download
y'all.
the app and all that stuff, man. We will see you guys, man. Give us some love, man. Go download the app. Basically, there's a 5-star. You can give us a 5-star rating on the app, and also go to motionsports.com or motionsportsnetwork.com. Read some of the articles we've been putting up, man. Trying to give a lot of stuff out. Also, we're going to be here trying to get this thing streamed live now on Roku, Amazon Fire, and all that good stuff, man. But check it all out. YouTube, subscribe, and all that great stuff, man. Blake, thanks, man. Good luck to your Astros, man, tomorrow. And we're going to see.
I hope I have the mental wherewithal to make it through the game. I'm running thin, man. It hurts every win or lose. I just lose years off my life. And man, guys that have stuck with us for the 2 hours and interacted with the chat, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Super fun,
Absolutely.
interactive. Your comments are really appreciated.
Phenomenal, man. It's like, I love going back in the old days too, man. Back in the 80s and 90s and talking that kind of stuff, man. That's been sports were just amazing. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. Thanks, Blake. Take care, man.
Problem, man. Have a great day.
Bye.